on the YouTube stream, you can't see it obviously through the radio or the app or whatever, but I'll explain it to you. I have these headphones, Bose headphones. They've been great to me. I've probably had them about a decade. They are falling apart. They are shedding. The earpiece is coming off. I caught myself in my house the other day with super glue. And here I am on the table, like a kitchen table, trying to super glue the earpiece to this headphone that's 10 years old. I'm getting super glue on the table. I'm getting super glue on my hands. I'm getting super glue all over the place. The foam or whatever the earpiece is made of isn't really sticking. The thing is shedding. The pieces that are shedding are on my neck, on my shoulder, on my chest, in chest hair. And it's like, dude, you know, you're an adult. You make money. Like, buy some new headphones, brother. Idiot, you know? What are you doing? So I bought new headphones, and I'm waiting for them to come in. Like $35. Like, what? Sometimes it just got problems. You know, like, why not just spend the money on new headphones? And there I am gluing them on the table like it's third grade arts and crafts. Ridiculous. So this is the last show with these headphones. It's been a great run. Sometimes I just like forget to buy stuff. I saw a picture of myself the other day, and I was wearing a shirt that I wore the day before I saw the picture. The picture was from like 7-8 years ago. I'm still wearing the shirt. It's like, buy a new shirt. You know? You're allowed to buy stuff. And like, you just don't. That type of shopping doesn't even. No, see, I'm too busy buying Mo Vaughn cards during this midlife crisis. That's what I'm doing. So, I just need to get that off my chest. Like, it's shedding probably right now. I mean, look at this. It's flopping around. Like, come on. Buy some headphones. So, they'll be here by the next time I'm on. Okay. It's like $35. You know? Crying out loud. God, I miss baseball. And what I mean by that is, you know, obviously the Red Sox have been great. I think what I mean by that, I miss the juice of what the Dodgers did. And them getting Tariq Skubal is, I mean, man, what can you say other than applaud? Because that's a great move. Skubal's obviously been one of the best pitchers in the game, back-to-back. I mean, you know his resume, awesome. And they go out and get him. This is a reminder, okay, and I just want to be clear about this. I tweeted this morning, and this is how we're going to start the show. This is a reminder that the Boston Red Sox could have any player that they desire. Any player that they desire. They choose to not go far enough when attempting to acquire XYZ players. That's why they fail. Because the Red Sox don't do enough. The Red Sox are the reason they don't get the player. Okay? And I just want to remind everybody of that. Because it's not just the Red Sox. It's other teams. The Dodgers aren't special in this regard. Yeah, they have the money. They have the money. They can sign these guys. But this wasn't free agency. This was a trade. Any other team could have traded for this player and used him as a rental. And if you didn't get to sign him long term, okay. Then let him sign with the Dodgers and let them spend $1 billion on the player. But other teams could have sent a package to Detroit for a player like this, including the Boston Red Sox. And I don't know why they didn't. Okay, because the Dodgers gave up some prospects. Nothing special. And why you wouldn't do that. And again, what really bothers me, this is such a great opportunity for teams, the trading deadline, to ignite their organization with juice. Forget about what happens on the field between the lines. You can ignite your organization with unbelievable juice by doing something like what the Dodgers did. So not only do the Dodgers get Skubal and get everything that comes with having a pitcher who's that elite, which we know they're going to get great things from him, they denied every other team the opportunity to not just add the arm, but to infuse their organization with something special and give them a boost. I mean, we saw it back in the day. Okay, there's a million examples. I don't need to go through all of them. But speaking of the Brewers, you remember when they signed CC Sabathia, or they traded for CC Sabathia? What was that, 2008-ish? I mean, he took them for a ride. Why wouldn't you want to be a part of that again? It doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, the Dodgers trade featured, and this is from Jared Carabas on Twitter. He had it. The number 5 prospect in the Dodgers organization, number 25 in baseball. The number 7 prospect in the Dodgers organization, number 68 in baseball. And the number 17 prospect in the Dodgers organization, not even a top 100 prospect in baseball. That's what they traded. You're telling me no other team could have put together a package to rival that one? Unacceptable. These teams have decided either A, they don't want to spend, or B, they've gotten taken over by the analytical people who have convinced them that it's not worth it. And I still disagree wholeheartedly. Baseball is a finicky game. Whenever you're dealing with a swing, it's finicky. Okay? You need as many dudes as possible. And I just wouldn't want to be one of those teams that you're just hoping that your lesser player catches fire and that the other team's elite player bottoms out at the wrong time. That's a tough way to play. That's a tough organization to back. Okay? Because the odds are never in your favor. The odds are never in your favor to begin with. They're less in your favor if that's your approach. You need dudes. Okay? You need dudes to get you there at the worst. That way, maybe Mr. Cinderella can show up, Steve Pierce, and go crazy and win you a championship. But at some point, you have to rely on dudes. Okay? And if you don't have the dudes, eventually that team will get exposed. So the Dodgers do what they need to do to get dudes and keep recycling guys to get more guys who are elite. I love the Dodgers. Gosh, they're so good for baseball. I love the Dodgers. You know what else I love about the Dodgers? Here, they're doing it better than the Yankees ever did it. I wish George Steinbrenner was still alive. God, I would have loved to have seen his response to this. People can't live forever, but that would have been fun. They are doing it even more. They're doing it better than the Yankees ever did it. Okay, because the Yankees did not, once they started to buy players and acquire players like the Dodgers do now, and I'm talking like early 2000s, they did not see the guys coming up through the farm system that the Dodgers have. I mean, they continue to find players who contribute at the major league level, despite the fact that they're trading players, that they're acquiring stars. They still have a pipeline that is wildly effective. I don't remember what the Yankees pipeline was. Alfonso Soriano, was he the last big name guy that came up through the system that contributed to those teams that were stacked, the teams that didn't really win? But I mean, a lot of their guys, Musina, Giambi, Randy Johnson, go up and down the list. Johnny Damon, Alex Rodriguez, none of those guys obviously came from the Yankees organization. Now, neither did the Dodgers' best players, but they still have, wasn't Will Smith homegrown for the most part. Maybe they dealt for him when he was not even in the majors yet. I mean, even a guy like Yasiel Puig wasn't, their best player, but he was a guy that during their first run when they were going to World Series, and I think they won the World Series once with him in 2020. I forget if he was still on the team. But he was a part of what they did. He was a big spark that gave the Dodgers a chance. He had a big home run against the Red Sox in that World Series. Obviously, they didn't win it, but they still find guys that can come into the major league team, onto their roster, and produce. They're just the best. And now they've gotten even better. It's a stupid roster. And everybody should be trying to keep pace. Okay? And I'm going to tell you right now, everybody talks about the salary cap and if they had a salary cap and this and that. I don't think it would make much of a difference. Number one, I do agree with the notion that the Dodgers would just be good at that too. They're too good. But I think the bigger conversation would be baseball is, you just don't know. You don't know who's going to get hot when and how they're going to play in the playoffs, biggest moments, and how that's going to affect the team. It's such an unknown. Hitting that ball is so hard. That's what makes it interesting. And that's why the Dodgers do what they do. Because they know how hard it is and they need as many elite people as possible because somebody isn't going to be at their best when the games are the biggest. So the more guys you have, the better off you are. That's what everybody should be going for. And anybody that thinks otherwise is an idiot. Okay? Analytics. No. This is how you do it with the model that's in place. You add talent. Shame on everybody else in Major League Baseball that hasn't done this, that had a chance at school and didn't do it, didn't convert, didn't pull the trigger, didn't offer that one more piece to get the deal done. They are all losers. Losers. It's a winning move by the Dodgers. Credit to them. I wish I was a Dodgers fan. Credit to them. That's how it's done. Okay? I'm about to give a lot of credit to the Boston Red Sox, but I still completely disagree with their organizational philosophy and how they've tried to execute building this team. Credit to the players. I'll give a lot of credit to Chad Tracy. But you want me, I'm not giving credit to the organization, or at least full credit, when your best guys aren't even a part of this. This isn't even the plan. The plan was Garrett Crochet, Roman Anthony. It's not even the plan. 617-779-0985. When we get back, with that said, I'm going to tell you why the key to the Red Sox season might be found in what we saw in the Super Bowl back in February. That might be the whole key to what the Red Sox hope to accomplish this year. And I'll explain when we get back. 617-779-0985. Mark Dondero, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
It's Colossal Lobster Roll season at the 99 Restaurant. Choose hot buttered or traditional with celery and mayo. Both built to the hilt with chunks of tender North Atlantic lobster. Served with
Sports Hub, 617-779-0985. I am blown away by this Red Sox run. Absolutely blown away. Credit to this team. Credit to the uniformed players. I didn't think something like this was possible, especially what they've done since the trade deadline. Excuse me, since the All-Star break, not the trade deadline. I'm expected to be wildly disappointed tomorrow afternoon. We'll get into that. But since the All-Star break has really been impressive. Okay. Just for some perspective, this is what really stood out to me. So they in July, the Red Sox lost 4 games, I believe, 21-4. Okay. Some recent teams to go a whole month and lose within the month less than 5 games include some recent teams. I'll give you the recent one. I don't care about the 1938 Yankees. In 2013, the Los Angeles Dodgers went 24-6 in August. Okay? 2002, we're going to go back. We're jumping around. Obviously, that was the year the Oakland Athletics went on their run. 20 in a row. They went 24-4 that August. Okay, the September 2017 run that the Indians went on in Cleveland, 25-4. September of 2017. The Braves in June of 2023, they were 21-4 that month, just like the Red Sox. And the Red Sox in 2026 in July, 21-4. Okay? What strikes me is that each team that accomplished that feat, losing less than 5 games in the month, one of 2 things happened. They either won 100 games or they won their division by double digits. So this is kind of unprecedented, what we're seeing from the Red Sox here. Not even kind of. It is. It's unprecedented. Because here you have the Boston Red Sox, owners of the record that they had in July. And I just said 21-4. But they're currently in 3rd place in the AL East, 6 games back. And not on pace for 100 wins. Okay, they're 8 games over 500. Credit to them that they were able to battle back to be in this position, solidly right now, at least in the playoffs. But there's no precedent for this. Because teams that were that bad don't win like this. The teams that win like this are excellent. Really all the way through. Now, the problem is none of those teams won the World Series. Just making sure I have that right. Yep, 2013. That was the Red Sox. Who won in 23? That one of the Astros or I forget. I don't think it was the Braves. The Braves won in 21, didn't they? But I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about being a true contender for the World Series. That's what I'm worried about. Okay? And I'm wondering if the Super Bowl from last season, it was the Texas Rangers in 23, teaches us something. And here's why I think the Super Bowl could be the key to the Red Sox. Or maybe the key isn't the way to put it, but insight into what we could see happen. I was fully a non-believer in the model put forth by the Seattle Seahawks. I'm still not, even after they won the way they won. Still not a believer. But they won the championship. And Sam Darnold, I still can't believe it, was the quarterback of the team that won the championship. I still cannot believe it. So with that being said, I have to say that something changed in football, or Seattle was just that good and in the right time at the, whatever, where they were able to win with Sam Darnold as their quarterback. I never thought it would happen, and it did. Maybe the same thing can come true in baseball. Maybe one of these small market approaches can find a way to win a World Series, because it's never happened. These teams never win. They make it close. They make runs. They're exciting. They can be injured. They can get there. They never, ever win it. I never thought Sam Darnold could win it, but it happened. Maybe things evolve. Okay? Now, is that me saying, well, maybe I should get on board with what the Red Sox have done over the last few years and lean into this analytically driven? Absolutely not. I still think they're a bunch of a-holes. I still think they're dead wrong. I'm still disgusted by the way they've managed the front office and tried to build this team. Disgusted. But with that being said, I'm not going to be closed-minded to the idea that maybe things can evolve and change. And like we saw in the Super Bowl, you don't need an elite quarterback to win it all. Maybe you don't need to follow the Dodgers model to win it all. Maybe your analytical approach, if you strike lightning in a bottle, will be good enough and will work out for you. It's never happened. These teams that went on these runs never win it. And I'm sure if you dig deeper into the analytics, there's probably a stat in there that will tell you that they work to a point. Now, this is what the analytical people don't probably want you to know, or they don't want to discover themselves. It works to a point. Yeah, it can get you a decent record sometime. If you do it right, if you have some luck, it can get you to a decent record. It never gets you to the championship. Okay? Never has, and I don't know if it will. But I think we need to consider that the Red Sox are for real. They're for real. I'm definitely willing to consider that, say, Don Rafaela is a dude. He is legit. That's not some guy. I'll say it this way. Last year, when he was hot in June and July, I knew that there was no way they could count on him when it mattered the most in the playoffs in the postseason. This year, he has convinced me he's the real thing. So, yeah, you're damn right. I expect him to produce in the postseason when the games are the biggest. He'll have that expectation. Congrats. Because he's gotten to that level right now. And not just right now, over the last few years. He's gotten to that level. What will the Red Sox do at the deadline? Not enough. I know they're not going to do enough. I know that will happen. And there's probably a good chance that will sink them. Because once this wears off, what will happen is, they start losing some games. Then all of a sudden, people get a little impatient. And their first thought will be the deadline. You didn't do enough. That's when you had your chance. You knew it wasn't going to last. You knew that this team was overachieving. You had your chance. You got back in it, and you didn't take advantage of it. We're going to have those conversations. You know we are. So, the only thing that I can take forward is that this is unprecedented. We've never seen this. We've never seen them win like this, or really, I don't want to say any team. I don't know the history of every team in Major League Baseball. I know the Red Sox have never won like this after being so bad. And now they're winning at a historic clip. They've had a historic month. And like I said, teams that have that type of month either win the division by double digits or win 100 games. Okay, the 2002 A's won 103 games or whatever it was. Okay, some of these other teams, the Guardians, that year in 2017 when they were the Indians, they won 102 games. Won the division by 17. The Braves won 104 games in 2023. We've just never seen this. And I don't think the 2013 Dodgers won 100 games, but I think they won the division by like 11. We've never seen a team win this much, not get to 100 wins, and not win the division. I don't know what to make of them. Okay? But they have proven enough to me that they are ballsy, that they are a team that has figured out how to win. And I expect this to go on for the rest of the year. Now, again, whether that's enough come playoff time, we'll see. I'm guessing it's not, but you got to give them credit, and I think Chad Tracy should be the manager of this team. 617-779-0985. Take the tag off of him. He comes in and does it, he turned the season around in historic fashion. How do you not give him the job? Historic fashion. And man, will it be a shame if they don't do something at the deadline. I just miss the juice that we get from a team like the Dodgers. How energized you get when you know that they're out there to win it and they acquire a big bat. I would have loved Ellie De La Cruz. That would have excited me in a way I hadn't been excited in years. Okay? And just remember, they can get any prospect, any player that they desire. They just need to send the package that will be necessary. And if they don't, that's on them. Okay, and I don't know if the Reds were asking for minor leaguers or young major league players was the report. Figure it out. Figure it out. Find a way. I don't know why you wouldn't want to win. You know, the process is one thing. You want to stick to the process and do that, and that's a popular cliche in sports. But you also need to win. You know what I mean? Like, the process needs to be the foundation of ultimately winning. And if these players are available, it's your responsibility to go for them, especially if you're the Red Sox and they haven't respected that responsibility enough recently. 617-779-0985. The one thing I think that could ruin everything is if the trade deadline ruins this season. And as impressive as it's been to this point, if they fall off or drop off after the trade deadline and not doing anything, no one will remember the run. Nobody will forgive them for not doing anything or the inaction that they put out there. And that's what people will think about. 617-779-0985. Starting Red Sox here. Mark Dondero, 98.5 The Sports.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5.
98.5. The other thing I wanted to just discuss today, I actually handled the news of Skubal signing with the Dodgers pretty well. I was prepared for it. A part of it frustrated me, not from a Dodgers perspective, more from the Red Sox perspective and missing, living that life where you get the high from getting a guy that noteworthy and all that. But I was thinking about what acquisitions, deals, trades in the history of sports during, I guess, my lifetime have pissed me off the most. What were the trades or the signings that you remember where you were like, are you serious? You got to be kidding me. The one that probably sticks out the most to me, whether it was a player leaving, going, coming, whatever, I don't care. I was beside myself when Aqib Talib signed with the Denver Broncos. Beside myself. I was so pissed when that happened. I don't ever remember being as angry. Maybe it's because of where the Patriots were in their fandom and how bad their defense had been for a couple of those seasons. They can't stop a nosebleed, that defense. You finally hit it with Talib, a legit number one corner. He has a good season for you. And not only do you lose him, but he signs with Denver. Your rival at the time. That was one of the most infuriating acquisitions that a team ever made, from my perspective. Him leaving the Patriots, going there. Obviously, A-Rod would be on that list. You got to be kidding me. The Red Sox, he had one foot in the Red Sox pants, and then, I didn't know it was going to work out the way it worked out. But in the moment, really, Alex Rodriguez to the, that was another one. Just infuriating. There's others out there. Let's go to you. Tom is in Hull. Hey, Tom.
Quick comments. We can't glorify the Dodgers for getting the big acquisition. Their payroll is exactly why we're not going to have baseball next year. So Tariq Skubal goes there. No one's surprised, but everyone should be pissed because they're the poster child. They're going to just run it hot, and next year there'll be no baseball. They're part of the reason why. And I'm not a Henry apologist, but I've enjoyed the last 20 years. I listened to 6 months of people hating on Breslow. He didn't sign Bregman. Well, wait, he actually did sign Bregman. And when he signed him, for those of us who still cared about baseball, he signed him and everyone said, that contract sucks. He's going to walk after a year, which is exactly what happened. So he did sign him, and it's proved, this other kid can play. That's great. But Breslow changed the franchise when he traded for Garrett Crochet. Whether he's here now or not, that team became a different team, a much better team, a team we all rallied around. And now we've gone through this roller coaster of a year without the guy. And I just think it's time for people to move on from hating on Henry and Breslow and how they do it. They keep coming back to give us competitive teams to watch, and that's all we care about.
Hey, thanks for the call, Tom. I mean, that's one way of putting it.
I'm so tired of people blaming the Dodgers for the strike that might be coming. It's such a cop-out. There are other teams that could have gotten Skubal.
I'm sorry, did the Dodgers break the rules?
Exactly. You could have stopped them.
So if the Dodgers didn't break any rules, why would it be their fault that the league could go on strike? It's not their fault. It's Major League Baseball's fault.
No, there's other teams. Other teams that aren't putting forth the effort that the Dodgers are and not putting the money into their team. That's the reason you're getting a strike.
Right. That's exactly right. The Dodgers are doing what they need to do to win. It is not their responsibility.
No, this isn't fair. We're not going to get the 2-time Cy Young win.
That's not what, they're trying to dominate the sport. That's what you're supposed to do in professional sports. Dominate. They've won the last 2 World Series. Okay, now, are they taking advantage of their market? Yes. Their proximity to Japan? Look, LA has always been, the West Coast has always been an attractive destination for Japanese players. They've taken advantage of some proximity, and that's fine. We see it in the NBA all the time. Los Angeles, New York, the bigger markets, at least for a period. We saw it back in the 90s. Hideo Nomo came over. He was a sensation. He wasn't Ohtani, obviously, but he was he went on a little magical run there for the Dodgers. So what? We saw it in New York, too. They got a lot of great Japanese players. Remember Hideki Arabu? What was the name? I can never remember his name, but he was like 10 years ago. He was their big acquisition, a Japanese guy. And I'm not talking about Hideki Matsui. He was a pitcher. Masataka Tanaka or something like that. Masahiro Tanaka. Was that a guy? I can't remember his name. But, it's happened in both markets. The Dodgers are doing what they need to do. And, Tom, he makes the point that I'm willing to respect. My problem is, I think Tom is just like that day I was on with Felger and Maz, and when Maz said he was happy right now. You're just playing into what John Henry wants you to do. And that's where I get uncomfortable. And I get it. It's hard because you want to root for you want to root for your team, genuinely root for them and feel good. Like they're trying to win and maybe they'll win and hope they win and all that. But you have in front of you the formula. The Dodgers are the formula. They've won the last 2. Okay? You know what you used to be. What the Dodgers were, and you won when you were that. See 2018. You won when you were that, Dave Dombrowski. Now you're not that, and it's not because you lost money or you across some hard times. You've decided to step in a different direction. You decided that. How can I sit here and be okay with that fact? And if Tom's able to do it, then good for him. I'm not going to tell him he's an idiot or he shouldn't, shame on you. I'm not going to do that. If that's the way he wants to approach this, that's fine by me. I'm personally having a hard time doing that myself. Because I feel like I'm just giving in and accepting what is wrong. That's not how you win the championship. The Dodgers are doing what needs to be done. Lee's in Oklahoma. Hey, Lee.
Hey, Mark, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you sound good.
Hey, well, first off, I want to say I appreciate your show. I called in a couple weeks ago about the Pats, man. You're great.
Thanks,
Enjoy
man.
listening every Sunday.
Thanks, man.
My question to you is I'm a diehard Red Sox fan, and I couldn't believe it whenever I saw the winning streak start to take off and getting to 15 wins. I mean, something that hasn't been done since the 40s. As a fan, is it not right to be just extremely upset if we don't make any type of move? I'm not talking a Tarek Skubal or even a Hunter Goodman, but like in my mind, if we are going to have any chance, I think you've got to get another starting pitcher. Like somebody, I mean, Garrett Crochet's not going to be back, I don't think. What's kind of your thoughts on that? I mean,
Okay.
You got to do something, right?
Thanks for the call, Lee. Thanks for listening. Look, I'm not comfortable telling fans how they should cheer. Like people can do what they want. To answer Lee's question, yes, I agree. You need to do something. Okay, I think it would be irresponsible for this team, for this front office, to sit here and say, you know what, we're good. And this, we can ride through October and have everything in front of us on the table for us to achieve because we got what we need right here. Yeah, our best players are on the IL and unavailable, but we still got everything we need. Come on, really? You expect anybody to buy that? It would be a slap in everybody's face if they don't do something, if not something significant, at least something else to supplement this team. You need to plan for the reality that they're not going to be this good in 6 weeks. It's just baseball. Okay? And that's why you continue to prepare for the unforeseen. But this is an easy one. I mean, they're overachieving. Credit to them. And maybe at their foundation, they're better than any of us thought a month and a half ago, and that they're real. And that the Boston Red Sox are more of what we're seeing now than what we saw 2 months ago. I'll give them all that. But if you're talking about World Series contenders and that they're immune to a drop-off, that's irresponsible. You know this team could go right back. I mean, they're 8 games over 500. One losing streak, and they're right back to what they've been every year for the last 5 years. 500, meh, average. Nothing special. I've refused this entire time to get swept away in all this. Okay? I've applauded their effort. It is unbelievable that they won 15 games in a row and that they've continued to win and that they're going to win another series. They could sweep the Dodgers tonight. Unbelievably impressive. But you cannot settle with this. That would be irresponsible. That would be malpractice. And I think they're going to do it. All these other teams are active, making moves, and I know that they went out and got whoever, whatever the guy's name was, he got hurt. Fine. Mead. Good. Nice start. But that was a start. What's next? I'm not falling for it. Give all the credit to those guys on the field. I'm not falling for it. Can I take a break here, Jeff, or do I need to keep? We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We're going to get into some Patriots thoughts. Any trade, any acquisition, anything that pissed you off, let me know. Damon pissed me off. That annoyed me too. Going to the Yankees. Nothing worse than that Talib one. It's a good thing he got Revis because I was not doing well. 617-779-0985, Mark Dondero.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
98.5. The Jaylen Brown trade is up there. That one disgusted me. I've softened a little bit on that move. Still disgusting. Just because, for now it feels like the end of an era in terms of the Celtics' ability to contend for a championship. I'm thinking more about things that are outside of the control of the Boston team and trades that went down that were, obviously when you send a guy away, I feel like as big of a fan of Nomar Garciaparra as I was, I love Nomar, but I was kind of over him when he left. I don't remember being that broken up about the trade. I know he joined the broadcast. What was that, Friday night? And he was saying nice things about his time here, and that was nice to hear. And respect to Nomar. But I'm just at the time. I remember being more intrigued, I think, than anything else. I mean, I was disappointed. I wanted to see Manny Ortiz Garciaparra for as long as I could, but I don't remember. It felt like it had gotten to a point that it was not going to happen. And I don't remember being so broken up about the trade, despite the fact that he was a legend. I had 1 million of his cards and all these things. I was kind of okay with it at the time. So, that was one. Paul Pierce, obviously I loved Paul Pierce, but at the time of the trade, it was the right thing to do. So that wasn't one. There's other ones that other teams made that I know I got pretty angry. I mean, Wes Welker signing with the Broncos, as done as I was with Welker after some of his drops, that was annoying. To go to Peyton Manning, that was annoying. A lot of the football ones annoyed me. Adam Vinatieri going to the Colts annoyed me. That annoyed me. That was a guy. Oh, I'll tell you another one. Really annoyed me. When Bill didn't want to sign Deion Branch the first time. I loved Deion Branch. That was devastating when he left. And of course, it ended up burning them. So that was a bad one for me. I didn't really care when LeBron went to Miami. I think I felt like the Celtics had sort of done what they'd done everything that they could have done by that point. That's what it felt like to me. So I was not over the moon devastated. I mean, I was interested in how that was going to play out. I thought it was stupid the way he approached it, but I didn't think it was going to be the worst thing that ever. And the other one that I wasn't bothered by, that a lot of people were bothered by, when Kevin Durant went to the Warriors. For whatever reason, I think it's because I didn't like LeBron, and I knew that move was going to be bad for LeBron. I think that's why I didn't care as much. The Celtics weren't contenders at that point either. So that was one that a lot of people had a problem with. I didn't have a problem with it.
Did you bring up Pedro to the Mets?
No.
That one bothered me.
It did. See, you know why it didn't? I think I was the same. I think it felt like he had kind of given everything he had at that point. And I was not happy. I was probably more bothered by Clemens.
See, that one, it's funny. That one really, it was more like Toronto?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like when he went to the Yankees, that's when it was like, oh, what a dick.
Right. The Pedro one, I just feel like, that wasn't, he had a great showing in the World Series, and I couldn't have been happier that was sort of the lasting impression he had with the Red Sox. It was perfect. But, I mean, man, the year before when he was in there and they didn't take him out, and then there was the Who's Your Daddy, and it kind of felt like he was falling off a little bit. I mean, I was disappointed to see him go, but if you're talking about I was throwing things or really upset, I can't say I was to that level.
It was more like a
yeah,
really,
yeah,
especially like the Mets too, of all teams.
Well, it was better than the Yankees, but yeah, I forgot about that. He went to the Mets. I remember him on the Phillies. I remember rooting for him in that World Series playing the Yankees, but it just I just felt like he had kind of squeezed, and then you get that championship. He delivered. I was okay with it, a little bit more okay with it than other people. That's why I like Jaylen Brown. I feel like there was something still on the table. That's why I didn't like it. Pedro, I didn't think there was much more on that table based on how things had transpired and progressed over the last few years or whatever it was. So, but I mean, look, I'm just telling you, if the Red Sox don't do anything at the trade deadline, okay, and then don't do anything special in the playoffs, it's going to be forgotten. I'll go that far. I'll say everything they've done this year will be forgotten. Nobody will care. Do we still care about what they did around the trade deadline or around the All-Star break in 2025? They made the playoffs. Okay, they went on a run. They made the playoffs. Rafaela got hot, and they went, they won one game and lost 2 in a row, and that was it. That did nothing for anybody here. Everybody's still mad, and everybody still considers last year one of the years they sucked. They've sucked the last 5 years. They all consider last year as one of those years where they sucked. Let's go to Chad in Boston. Hey, Chad.
Hey, man. So, when Roger Clemens signed with the Yankees, that one killed me.
Which one was that?
Roger Clemens going to the Yankees, just because I was such a big Clemens fan, despite the misremembering and steroids. And he wasn't doing anything anybody else wasn't doing.
Yep.
And that one really hurt because I just was such a huge fan. I used to run to Fenway to see him pitch. And that 85 year, I think it was, when he was 24 and 4, was just unbelievable. And knowing I was going to now have to root against him, it was just something that was very painful.
Yeah, I'm going to let you go, Chad. I think
Was he
you're
out on the boat?
Wind tunnel. Thanks for the call, and I agree. I didn't know of that one, though. I mean, I was bothered, too. I think part of the reason I was bothered, 96 was kind of a fun year of Roger Clemens. I forget what his record was, but he had the other game where he struck out 20 in Detroit. You remember that? That kind of came out of nowhere. He also, in that season, I was watching this live, and I couldn't even tell you how it happened, but he got up to bat one time, somehow, at Fenway. Okay? And I think it was against Seattle, and he got a hit. You remember this?
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, my God. He singled up the middle. I have no idea how, because I'm pretty sure they were playing an American League team. Yeah, it wasn't a good year for him on the mound, 10 and 13. And then, of
I
course,
got to see him pitch once that year, and he pitched a complete game against the Angels.
yeah, he went the next year in Toronto, 21 and 7, and then 20 and 6. So he shoved it up the ass of, the twilight of my career or whatever. But I'm telling you, in 96, I got to look it up. He got an at-bat and got a hit at Fenway. And I think it was against an American League team. I don't know how that worked. I mean, there must have been something funky that went on with the roster. It was against, no, wait a minute. This is the wrong thing. I'll look it up. It was 96. I'm telling you, it happened. He got a hit. I just can't remember the circumstances around it. Dan is on the Cape. Hey, Dan, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Dondero? So the one that everyone talks about, the trade or signing that irritated as a Red Sox fan, A-Rod, but the one that really got to me was Mark Teixeira, because it was a perfect position for the Red Sox. They needed that first baseman, that big hitter, and everyone was like, oh, he's going to the Boston. But then all of a sudden he went to New York, and it's like, well, no one even considered that. And that one just really got to me.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That type of trade, that type of acquisition. Like, seriously, Teixeira to the Yankees? Come on. That reaction is what I mean. And I feel like, it's going to happen to every team, every fan of every team. I mean, those things happen. But it just feels a little more explosive here, doesn't it? For whatever reason. Maybe it's the passion of the fans here. Maybe it's because for years, I just outlined it. Those years, the Patriots were close, and I can't tell you how bad I wanted them to win during that era. The post-Spygate era, before they were able to get back over the hump. Oh, my God. That loss in 2011, January of 12 or whatever it was when they lost to the Giants, I was devastated that they couldn't get over the hump again. It was the Giants. That one killed me.
I found the info behind Roger Clemens getting the hit.
Okay.
It was on May 23rd, 1996. They played at Fenway against the Mariners.
Yeah, well, how do you get an at-bat?
So it's because the DH was Jose Canseco. He got moved to left field so that you lose the DH rule, and it required Clemens to bat at that point.
Okay. And he singled up the middle.
Against Norm Charlton.
Wow. And Griffey must have fielded it. I mean, that was a really weird moment, but fun. Pete's in Pembroke. Hey, Pete.
Hey, I got one here. Jacoby Ellsbury to the Yankees the year after the Red Sox won the World Series with him.
Was that the year after they won the World Series? He went there?
I believe.
Yeah, we won in 2013, and he signed that free agency in 2014.
Yeah, that was another one. Thanks, Pete. Yeah, that's one. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's the Red Sox-Yankees thing is always going to be touchy. But yeah, I mean, that's going to happen. There's a lot of trades. There's got to be one in basketball I'm forgetting. I'll think of it because, especially in that sport, you could have the entire...
Ray Allen to the Heat.
That's a good one. That was one that, especially after what the Heat had assembled and another guy, you need another player to help you, LeBron. Seriously. You know what? I'll give you one. I think when the Lakers acquired Gary Payton and Karl Malone,
I was just thinking of that.
That was kind of, an eye roll. Like, seriously? You got to do that? 617-779-0985. We're going to get a headlines. We'll get you up to date. No commercials. We'll be back in 98.5, the Sports Hub.
From the Town Fair Tire Studio, this is...
strong finger all up and down.
This is... home of the 18-time world champion Boston Celtics.
All the way 3, Eddie hit.
WBZ FM and HD Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub. Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox win again last night. Out in L.A. Late night. Ceddanne Rafaela, 2 home runs. Powering Boston. It was 3-2. They got the game-winning run on a double play in the 8th, but that was enough. Bullpen shut it down. They're going to do it again tonight as Boston will go for the sweep. Jake Bennett on the mound for the Sox. Red Sox just 2.5 games back of the Yankees for second place in the AL East. Not all bad for the Dodgers yesterday as they dealt a couple prospects, 3 in total, for Cy Young Award winner, multiple Cy Young Award winner, Tarek Skubal, formerly of the Tigers. So he'll be the new ace out in L.A. if they want to make him the ace. They got a lot of aces. Patriots are off on Sunday. They'll be back at camp on Monday. Their first preseason game will be a week from Thursday, this coming Thursday, a week from this Thursday when they host the Colts at Gillette Stadium. And the Revs, they tied 2-2 last night north of the border. I think that was against, who was that, Toronto? We're going to just look it up here. Toronto. Sports Up headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Mark Dondero from Boston's Home for Sports. 98.5 The Sports Up. Next update about an hour.
The Sports Hub. 3 legendary franchises on one legendary radio station. It's the Sports Hub. No matter what team, no matter what player, no matter what coach, no matter what game, it all happens here. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Was tied last night. They'll be back in action against Houston on the 8th. Let's go back to you, Mike's in Situate. Hey, Mike.
What's up, my man?
What's up, man?
Hey, I don't think people realize that Clemens' last year for Boston, he pitched really good. I'm driving. I don't know the stats exactly, but I think he led the league in strikeouts. He had well over 200 innings. I think he had a low ERA. He didn't stick it to him that last year. He had a really good year. You said no run support.
10-13, yeah, 3.63. No, it was good. He just, he didn't have the support, I guess. They weren't that good that year.
He didn't give up. I kind of like the way he went out. That was a fun year, like you said. So thanks, my man.
All right, thanks. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like it when he went to Toronto. And I think it was, given perspective, Look, it didn't help that they called it the twilight of his career, and then he went and won 21 games. I don't care what he was doing, if you're steroid, like whatever. I love the steroid era. I don't care about any of that. I'd put all of them in the Hall of Fame. Look, again, if Major League Baseball, see, this is just like what we're dealing with now. Okay, I'm not going to get all up in arms if Major League Baseball is creating this monster. Major League Baseball is the reason the Dodgers are doing what they're doing. The rules are their rules. The Dodgers aren't breaking rules. Major League Baseball could have been better at enforcing the steroid rules back in the 90s. They didn't. They looked the other way. I'm just saying, it's not hard to break rules in the game of baseball. And if one person starts doing it, it can go down the line. I mean, it's the way it is. Now, if you're actively cheating, doing something that, significant effort that no other team is putting out there, that's different. What the Astros was doing, I think, was a little different, but I'm not saying cheating it should be acceptable. I'm just saying those things in professional sports, I don't know. I always found like it was kind of how business was done. If everyone's doing it and the league is turning a blind eye, they're going to keep doing it. I think that's what Spygate was all about. The league for a long time had turned a blind eye, and that's why it was something that all the teams were practicing. Then they decided to shut it down, and Belichick then didn't listen. That's what burned him. His legacy never would have taken a hit if he had been doing the spying or the videotaping while all the other teams were doing it. He was doing it just like everybody else. The only reason he took the hit was because when everybody else got the memo, he apparently just disregarded the memo and kept doing it. I'm telling you, his legacy wouldn't have been affected one bit if he had just stopped when they told him to stop, when everybody got that memo to stop. Even though he was still doing it, that was against the rules, but nobody would have cared. So, what are we doing here? Spencer's in Florida. Hey, Spencer.
Hey, Mark. Appreciate you taking my call, and I've enjoyed listening to you over the summer here. I appreciate all your thoughts.
Thanks.
I got two good ones.
Yep.
The Tom Brady departure is always going to burn me.
Obviously.
Cut real deep.
Good.
For sure. But the one that set me over the edge was Tyler Bertuzzi. When he came, he got traded into the Bruins at the deadline. They loaded up on that historical season. I took a huge thing of Kool-Aid, drank the Kool-Aid. Like, I was super, super invested in that. And then obviously the Bruins lost to the Florida Panthers. And that was a level of stunned by sports that I haven't been in a long time. And then that schmuck Bertuzzi left and signed somewhere else. They were trying to re-sign him to play with Pasta, and I think it was Chicago that he departed for as a free agent. But I have never been so stunned and so burned. And by all people, Tyler Bertuzzi.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
I love it. Give me a Tyler Bertuzzi one. I'm glad he brought that up because, I look, I don't care if it's an eye roll, if any move that was made that disgusts you is fair game here. And I'll give you another one. I was right. I still never gotten over it. I hated when they traded Tyler Seguin. I hated it. Now, I understand maturity, locker room fit, all of the above might not have been there. I hated it, and I'm serious. I still feel like to this day, the Bruins have never gotten over that trade. It's sort of, I don't know if I want to call it the curse of, it feels something like that, though. Like some type of curse.
No, they screwed themselves with that trade because of stupid crap that was going on in the locker room and everything. But they got screwed both ways after they traded him, because then you lost Horton, who you traded Sagan to have him keep. I'll never forget Chiarelli on the Behind the Bruins when he found out Horton was gone. And just the look on his face was just like, oh my God, I just traded Tyler Seguin to keep this guy, and he's still leaving.
I mean, I remember it just kept going down and down and down. They kept getting worse pieces. I mean, Louis Erickson, and then I forget who came after that. It wasn't good enough. And they just, what he injected into that team during that playoff run, I thought they should have given him more time. And I get it if they were completely out in the locker room for whatever reason on Seguin. Why couldn't they have worked with him a little longer? Why couldn't some of the leaders have been a little bit more proactive in teaching him how to behave? I mean, this isn't Roman Anthony here. You know, Roman Anthony has nobody to lean on. So if he's going to be at the bar every night and not doing what he's supposed to be doing, I don't see I don't think the leadership is in place to help him, guide him through that as a young star. I felt like the Bruins at that time had leadership that should have been able to effectively do that with Seguin. They just instead wanted to move on, wanted him out of there. Now, they continue to have success, but again, can you win? They never, ever won it again. And part of the reason is because they always lacked that punch, that score, that electric talent that could put you over the top. They never had it. Never was quite enough. JP is in NP. What's up, JP?
Mark, quick question. Are you doing the games with Joe again this year, Sunday nights?
I'll be on, baby. Post-game, Patriots post-game, year 2. Can't wait.
Great. You get to hear all the guff. How come your name's listed first instead of Joe's? Thick skin, Mark. I love it.
I don't care.
Mark, I think I got the winner. I just tuned in.
Yep.
Grown men, and I wasn't quite a grown man then. I was just a teenager, wept when Bobby Orr was traded. Bars shut for days. Men were weeping. People were drinking. That's the hardest one I think that ever hit Boston sports.
Wow. I mean, obviously before my time, was that worse than Tom Brady? I mean, the Brady one was brutal, obviously. My wife, who never, not the most decorated sports fan, she was mad when Brady left. She never got over that Hulu commercial. She was so mad that she thought he played us. She was not happy. And I'm sure she wasn't alone. I mean, the Brady one, that was a guy who should have finished his career here. However, I will say, I think he made the right move. And I hate to admit that. He went down there and proved that it was not Belichick, it was Brady. He went down there and identified the appropriate level of talent on a roster that would be able to get him back to the biggest stage. And he molded them in a year, and they won it. Good for Tom Brady. He was right. It was meant to be for him. So with that being the case, I can't really get too upset. It was the right move for Tom Brady, and he certainly had stuff left in the tank. 617-779-0985. We got to talk some Patriots. I feel like people are starting to awaken. Nationally, regionally. I've been trying to tell you for a long time. Not just me, other people too. But now it's starting to build. It's starting to build, and I have a thought on that. Mark Dondero, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
The 99...
coffee's not supposed to taste good.
It's not supposed to taste good. I was trying to get just the black kind, but all it offered me was French vanilla. This is not... I mean, they liquefy candy and put it in there. It's ridiculous. Look, I think it's really... So it's starting to happen with the Patriots. And I'm happy that people are coming to their senses. I'm starting to feel like more and more people are admitting that they're nasty. That they are friggin' nasty. Okay? And it would be an upset. I mean, look, I understand after the season they didn't have A.J. Brown. But does anybody really think Drake May is not legit? I can't wait to watch that man play this year. I can't wait to watch him work this year. I don't understand. Look, there is questions on the edge. There are questions at linebacker. Sure. I just kind of feel like Drake May is going to be the answer. I think he's that good. We have seen this before. When you have a quarterback, when you have a player that's that good, it shouldn't be that hard for him to cover up maybe a minor deficit at edge. Another thing I don't understand, people keep asking, where is the pass rush going to come from? I'm sorry. Are you not allowed to rush the passer up the middle? With the big hogs in the middle? Are they not allowed to penetrate the center or the guard and get around or through them and disrupt things in the middle? Can that not happen? Or is Milton Williams and Christian Barmore just going to be stonewalled every play? And you need to rely on the guy on the outside. I thought it was more disruptive for a quarterback to have pressure in his face, in his lap. It is. Why are you so concerned? Would you be concerned if it was the other way around? That's my question, because that's what I don't understand. If it were flipped and you had two elite or top-notch or above average at worst edge rushers and kind of whatever in the middle, would you feel a lot better about this team? I guess you would. I wouldn't. I like having their pressure come from the middle. I like having a guy as good as Milton Williams in the middle. I don't care at all about the edge rusher. What are you so obsessed about the edge rusher for? How often do those guys really ruin games? I don't get it. As long as there's somebody competent out there, and it's early. Harold Landry's been injured. Gabe Akis hasn't really been out there, but maybe they can find somebody to be capable. That's all you need. I mean, how many times over the course of the Patriots' life, your life, watching the Patriots, did they have games ruined by pressure up the middle, not off the edge? And don't make me go through the list again of edge rushers whose teams won nothing. TJ Watt, JJ Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett, Nick Bosa. Yeah, they've gone to the Super Bowl. What did he do for them? Those guys, they never win. The top edge rushers never win. Ever. You know who wins? The guys that get pressure up the middle. That's who I feel like always wins. Chris Jones, Justin Tuck. Those Giants teams, they got pressure off the edge. They also got pressure up the middle, in Brady's lap. Even games the Patriots miraculously won. 2016, 28-3. Who was the big problem in that game for the Falcons? Grady Jarrett. Was he coming off the edge? I don't remember. Or was he coming up the middle? Maybe a little bit of both. When you get pressure up the middle, that's what's most devastating. Now, I'm not saying you can have some high schooler on the edge, but Milton Williams and Christian Barmore, that should be a great foundation for pressure on the quarterback. Two really good players, really good pass rushers up the middle. I am in on that. I do not care nearly as much. I think the edge rusher is one of the most overrated positions in sports. Overrated. Okay, now good for the Texans. They put a lot of pressure on Drake May in the playoffs last year. Okay? I think it's an overrated position. Not saying it's useless, not saying it's not important. I think it's just a little overrated. The guys that I feel like are the most devastating, I mean, even go back to like random things. The Green Bay Packers. The one time Aaron Rodgers got to the Super Bowl. Do you remember who was one of the stars of the defense when the Packers got to the Super Bowl? B.J. Raji, Boston College. Had a huge game. I remember his fat cheeks going like this, so after he did a strip sack or something in Chicago. Huge game in the NFC Championship or whatever it was. Couple huge moments for them. Yeah, Clay Matthews is good. But it was Raji that really made a big impact. I mean, that's where it's most devastating, especially in the playoffs. And I'm sure I'm forgetting guys. I'm sure I'm forgetting examples. Now I'm addicted to this coffee. I can't stop drinking it. Brady always felt uncomfortable if they were getting pressure up the middle. That's what Milton Williams and Christian Barmore can do. I don't understand why people are so concerned with the edge. Just find someone competent. Don't be completely useless on the edge. You'll be good enough. Okay? Especially with the secondary that you have. Wake up, world, NFL. You know, the critics, the pundits. I don't understand. Like, this wasn't that hard. 617-779-0985. I was disappointed when Revis went back to the Jets. That one pissed me off. He just won. He goes back to the Jets. What a smart businessman. Shut up. He was the best corner in the league. Any idiot could make the right decision if you're the best corner in the league. That one was annoying. Nothing was as bad. That Talib one, man, sent me over the... Like, I was not in a good place. I could not believe after the struggles they had on defense that they let him go. And just to the Broncos. That was probably the one. I can't remember a trade that put me in a worse spot than that one. Curtis Martin. That was a tough one.
That was my first, like, heartbreak.
That was a tough one.
Ugh.
I was pissed at Parcells for leaving, so I was really against anything he was doing with the Jets. When they then got Martin,
like, Curtis could have went to any other team.
Any team.
He went the fact,
but
that
he had the relationship, and I get that. So I'm not going to put it all. You know, that one hurt. That one hurt because you didn't have the confidence in Pete Carroll. You're losing one of your better guys. It hurt, even though Robert Edwards comes along. That one hurt me. Man, I still can't believe. And I've talked about it. I will forever say it. It is not discussed nearly enough. They don't have I don't think they have a documentary on it. But it was in Gary Meyer's book. They have not analyzed enough what would have happened had Parcells simply told Archie Manning, yes, we're going to draft Peyton at 1 overall in 97. You would have had Keyshawn Johnson in 96. You would have had Peyton Manning in 97 with Bill Parcells and Bill Belichick. You would have then acquired Curtis Martin. You had Wayne. You don't think Peyton Manning could have done something with Wayne Corbett? You remember Wayne Corbett? Feels like he could have been productive with Peyton Manning. And Parcells leading the way. I can't even imagine. Jets fans, I know their pain runs deep. That miss is not discussed enough. And I'm just saying it. There needs to be a full documentary series on the Jets missing out on Peyton Manning and what that could have been for the organization. Forget about Brady Manning in the same division, Patriots versus Jets all those years. Belichick, whatever. Who knows how it would have happened. Just the fact that they did not make that happen in New York was devastating for the Jets, for the NFL, Just all around. 617-779-0985. Did the Patriots have a receiver problem?
Oh, they had Glenn.
What do you mean?
Were you talking about back in the day then?
No, I was just
currently
teasing. I was teasing.
Well, they have a ton of them.
They have a ton of them. What happened when Glenn left? That was another one that I disappointed. But it felt irreparable at that point. It felt a little irreparable, so I was kind of ready for it, even though you look back now, and it's like, damn, if that team had Glenn with what Brown did that year and Patton, oh my gosh, that would have been even better. But they didn't need him. 617-779-0985. Mark Dondero, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Back here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. There's another trade that really bothered me. There's a few other ones. We don't have to go through them all. Part of it is where your team is currently. I think that was, that's always a huge factor in some of the deals that get done or don't get done. And what's the situation with the player? If things are going well, you don't want to see that player leave. If things aren't going as well, even if it's somebody who's beloved, you're a little bit more okay with seeing them leave. I never believed that Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were in a place where the relationship couldn't work. I think we have this coverage, everything gets so covered now. It's different than it used to be. I mean, so what? If Jaylen Brown was upset that they went to Jason Tatum last or they introduced him last once he came back, whatever. So what? He was upset. You think that ruined their relationship to the point where he had to get traded? No, maybe it annoyed him. What the hell is that? Why is he getting... I've been carrying this team all year. He's not allowed to think that? Doesn't mean that the relationship's dysfunctional. I mean, you just think about your own workplace. Everything that you disagreed with would become dysfunctional if that's the way you operate. I mean, you can't. It's not the way it works. Not everything's dysfunctional. That's my point. So I just felt like that the relationship was working enough where they didn't have to make a trade based on the relationship between Tatum and Brown. I still believe that. Even though Jason Tatum talked about whatever he said the last few weeks at that camp, I don't think the relationship was beyond repair. I think they still had a good enough partnership that it could have worked. Let's go to Brandon in Boston. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Well, thank you for taking my phone call. So, when you look at this Celtics team, I feel like they're not completed yet. So whether that's acquiring, DeMar DeRozan, I would like that. But another guy that's out there that's under the radar is Bruce Brown. Now, I think that's a guy that you need to pick up because Bruce Brown is 6'4". I think he has like a 6'9" or 6'10" wingspan. He's a defensive grit guy. He can defend 1 through 4. His lateral quickness can keep up with point guards. So you talk about Maxey, Curry, and all these fast guys. You need a guy like that on your squad. And he's a champion as well, one with Denver. So when you look at Bruce Brown, now if you look at Miami, you look at Philly, you look at the landscapes of OKC and the Lakers, do you want them to acquire him and you have to deal with all those other guys plus him? You can get a veteran guy from a veteran minimum right now, and I think you would have to put up like 3 or close, maybe a little below $3 million to get the guy on the squad and fill in that 15th spot roster. But a guy like Bruce Brown, and plus he has, his native ties here as well. I think he can bring a lot of versatility to this team. So I don't know why Brad Stevens is not making more moves, because this team doesn't feel completed to me. This team, something's lacking with this team. I just can't put my finger on it. But if you can get a guy like DeMar DeRozan or Bruce Brown would be my first option. Go get him.
I like Bruce Brown. I would have liked him more with another star on the roster, not Paul George. You know what? It's a funny dynamic with the Celtics. You know, I'm bummed that they lost Jaylen Brown, obviously. But you know what is almost more... because I'm thinking to myself, well, what could they acquire that would really excite me? And honestly, I don't know the answer. You know, there was a report out there, I don't know if it was erroneous or whatever, it was speculative, that Brad Stevens might have made a call or be willing to call the Warriors on Steph Curry. And I thought about it, and I'm thinking to myself, would I really be excited if Steph Curry came here? I mean, it would be interesting, certainly. Would I accept him? Obviously. But I don't know. I don't feel like that's what wins anymore in the NBA. I think what's so disappointing, even more than that they lost Jaylen Brown, was that they had done such a good job developing those two and that they were homegrown, and that's what wins now. And it was the Celtics who had the ultimate model, you know, along with OKC. But all those OKC guys were homegrown. The core was homegrown. Ish. You know, I'm considering, I know Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wasn't drafted by the Thunder, but he really emerged with the Thunder. So I'm calling him a homegrown piece. He didn't do anything with the Clippers. That's what I feel like wins today in the NBA. And you supplement that homegrown talent with the guys like Bruce Brown or Derek White or Kristaps, you know, Drew Holiday, that type of thing. I'm bummed they got rid of one of their homegrown stars. And now it's what? You have to try to piece it together with signings, with guys who are just going to swoop in and hope to save the day with Bruce Brown. I don't like it. You had your foundational homegrown guys, and that's the model in today's NBA. 10 years ago, super teams. Now it's drafting, and I get it. Maybe it's evolving again with the second apron and all this crap, but that's what really disappoints me. You moved away from that, and now it's about Bruce Browns or DeMar DeRozan, who's been he's on a million teams, and that's who you're going to rely on to help you get back to the championship. That's disappointing. I mean, even look at Philly. Their core is still Maxey and Embiid, two guys that they drafted. Edgecombe, another guy they drafted. There was some type of pride in that. I don't know. And I'll take whatever I could get in terms of winning a championship. It's not like I wouldn't have taken Giannis. But I like the fact that it was Brown and Tatum and that they've been here and they bled Celtics green their entire life. It's all they knew. I like that. That was what was winning. And I hate that they had to go away from that. And now who knows where they're going to go. 617-779-0985. Did the Patriots have a problem at wide receiver? I'll tell you what I think. And should they act? That's coming up. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Traded me. Maybe some players that I always wanted who never came. Like, I'll give you one. And it almost burned this region bad. Okay? I hated when Steve Smith Sr. went to the Ravens. Hated that. And it almost burned the Patriots. If I remember right, didn't he have a nice day against Revis in one of those playoff games? Wasn't Smith still... He was doing pretty well against Darrelle Revis. He also he was the ice up son guy.
That's all I can
Yeah,
remember. That's the one I remember the most.
I'm pretty sure against Revis in that divisional game where the Patriots kept falling behind, I think he had a decent game. To look that up. What was that? 2014. That's the year they won. Yeah, January 10th, 2015. I mean, he was always awesome. I wanted him on the Patriots forever. Let me just look what he did in that game real quick. Receiving, site sucks. Senior, it wasn't huge. 3 for 44 and a touchdown. I mean, burned Revis on that play, I remember. And it's like, come on, this is an old dude, and you're Darrelle Revis. You can't let him score, but he was always productive. That's a player. I hated seeing him go to the Ravens at that time. And it almost cost the Patriots. So that was one. Someone on Twitter is mad that I'm complaining about JB being gone. Get over it. I think adding Curry would be nice with JT, but JB made it so Brad couldn't get the best offer because he knew he wouldn't. He went to Philly, he would have LeBron and beat. All right. Here's somebody. Are you beyond stupid? The Colts took Peyton Manning with the first pick. The Jets didn't have a top pick that year.
Someone tuned in at the end of your
who
rant
this
there.
I'm sorry, this guy is the dumbest. This is the dumbest take I've ever seen. Who is this guy? He goes, the Colts took Peyton Manning. That was 1998. Okay, number one. I'm talking about 1997 when Manning when he realized, or when the Jets refused to tell his father that they were going to pick him. He went back to Tennessee. He would have been the number one pick in 97. He decided to go back. So wrong, moron. Okay, and then he says the Patriots lost the Super Bowl last year because of their edge rushers. Huh? What? When have we ever discussed their edge rushers being the problem last year? I thought Sam Darnold didn't really play all that well. I thought the defense last year in the Super Bowl was fine. Just fine. It was the offense that dropped the ball. It was the offense that came up microscopically small. That's why they lost the Super Bowl. Who is this? Dave. Get out of my face, Dave. Don't waste my time with this crap. He calls me stupid. Don't call me names and then come at me with that. Jeez. The Patriots really need to think long and hard about Kayshon Boutte. Okay, I understand they're deep at the position. I understand that Boutte has now taken a step back with the arrival of A.J. Brown. But they are not in a position. If this guy is a playmaker for you, you need to keep him. Okay? We don't know what Romeo Doubs is going to offer this team. I like him. I'm glad they got this player, but I don't know what he's going to offer them. They need to keep Kayshon Boutte. They are not in a position to cut a player like that to me. Okay, because if he made plays. He was making plays at the highest level in the biggest moments. That catch against Houston. I mean, that's what it's all about. The guy is awesome on third down. He's been good outside the numbers. You need to keep this guy and stay in business with this guy, at least for now. You don't know anything. Don't know what I'm going to get from Pop Douglas. He's been up and down at best. Don't know what I'm going to get for Romeo Doubs. I don't even know what I'm going to get from A.J. Brown. I like the prospects of what Brown could offer. I am not getting rid of Kayshon Boutte now. No way. There are way too many questions on offense. Questions, by the way, that I like the prospect of their answers, but nonetheless, still questions. I am keeping him until I know what I have for this season, and there are too many first-year Patriots on this roster. I will keep him, and if he wins a spot, he will be on the field. Jim is in the car. Hey, Jim.
Yeah, thanks for taking the call. I'm not that devastated over the loss of Jaylen Brown for this reason. They were not going to beat San Antonio, the Knicks, or Oklahoma with Tatum and Brown next year. So they've got to have something different. I think Mitchell Robinson will be helping us, at the center position. And, I would have liked them to get more for Jaylen Brown, obviously. But they weren't going to win with him. So I think, that's all I would say. The only other thing, too, on the Red Sox.
Yep.
No one talks about losing Schwarber. That was a terrible loss.
Terrible. It's a good one. That's a good one, Jim. The Schwarber one was devastating, too. Devastating. Kyle Schwarber, great one. Devastating. That was the last real moment this organization has had in the playoffs. They've had little, July 13th, big win. That's good. But in the playoffs, that Schwarber home run, that's what we used to be. That's what this organization used to be. That. I thought they were going to the World Series when he hit that home run. That's what they're not anymore. And that's what they have to get back to. And that's also why I refuse to accept where they are. Look, the Jaylen Brown thing, if you don't think they were going to win with him, fine. I'm just telling you, there is no precedent in NBA basketball to get rid of a player of the caliber of Jaylen Brown and to win in that form and fashion. So if you don't, fine, they're not going to get rid of him, or they're going to win with him, but they're not winning without him because there's no precedent for it. So to me, you have just kind of pissed away your opportunity to win the championship. You're no longer a contender. That's why, at least they're contender with Jaylen Brown. They might not win. According to the caller, they're not going to win. Fine. But they were a contender with Brown. Now they're not a contender. Mitchell Robinson. Okay. Mitchell Robinson is fine on a contending team. Okay. If he's my centerpiece or one of them, that's not enough. Just like Al Horford wasn't enough. And he was a 4-time All-Star when the Celtics initially got him. Great player. Not enough. All-star player, professional, not enough. And that's where they are. And if you think that that's going to, I just don't see it without the other star. Maybe one day if the NBA really, evolves to where you can't afford the 2 max guys and everybody has to kind of play the same game, but that's not today. And there's other teams that are really good, and there are other teams that still have the 2 stars, and they're going to be ahead of the Celtics until further notice. Trevor's in Plymouth. Hey, Trevor.
Hey, how's it going, Mark? I got one for you. When I was like 13 years old, we traded away Big Joe Thornton.
Yep. Okay.
And that one was devastating for me. I think he went on to win MVP that year.
So you don't have to, that's exactly right. You don't have to remind me. I will say this, and thanks for that one, Trevor. I in the moment, I wasn't devastated. It was when he won MVP that I really was disappointed because he was not close to that. I didn't think he was that here at all. And he goes out there, and he was frustrating. He had underachieved, and then he goes out there and does that. In the moment, it wasn't as bad, but after that happened, it looked a lot worse. That was really bad. I guess I rolled my eyes a little bit when Giannis went to the Heat. I don't want them relevant again. It's been fun kind of being rivals with them the last few years, so I think that was sort of a leftover thought. So him going to the Heat was not what I was looking to have happen. But, in the NBA, he's not going to go. They were never going to trade Giannis to, pick a random team. Utah. You knew who was going to go to a team that was a player. So that was one. Another trade that really, I just was disgusted by. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Ray Bork, I wouldn't put in that category. That it's sort of reached the end of the line. I wasn't going to have a rally for him, but I reached the end of the line. 617-779-0985. We'll get you updated with the headlines, and we're right back. Mark Dondero, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
From the Town Fair Tire Studio, the game is on the Sports Hub.
Goes to the backhand and score! Two-hand slam!
Boston's home for sports.
I love this team!
98.5 The Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Red Sox, winners again last night. They've taken the first two games against the Dodgers out in L.A. 3-2 was the final. Sox powered by 2 home runs from Cedar Rafaela. They're going to do it again tonight, going for the sweep. Jake Bennett on the mound for Boston. Red Sox is 2.5 games back of the Yankees for second place in the AL East. The Dodgers did make a move yesterday, acquiring Tarek Skubal from the Tigers. A couple times Cy Young winner, new ace for L.A. if they want to make him the ace. So they'll be fine. Big move. Patriots, they were off on Sunday. They'll be back at practice on Monday. Their first preseason game is 2 weeks from Thursday, at which point they will host the Indianapolis Colts. And last night, up in Canada, the Revs and Montreal tied at 2 apiece. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Don't put off losing weight this summer. Reach your goal during the easiest season for weight loss. Awaken 180, the official weight loss program of summer. I'm Mark Dondero for Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 Sports Hub.
Boston Talk Sports.
Trade Drake May. We all know what, but we won't say what. Yeah, worst take on these airwaves in the last 24 hours.
We may not take a call today.
The Sports Hub. The Bruins, the Celtics, the Patriots, the Sox, the Revs, and you. We're Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Not that I hated him going to the Reds, but him playing for the Mariners was, I don't think I ever rooted for a player more than I rooted for that man playing for that team. So that was, I just knew it wouldn't ever be the same when he left Seattle for the Cincinnati Reds, and it wasn't. He was, injuries. He never, he had some good years. His initial run in Cincinnati was pretty good, but it was never what it was in Seattle during those 90s at the Kingdome. So that one, I knew that was going to be different. It was. Kind of rolled my eyes when Pau Gasol went to the Lakers. That was kind of like, you got to be kidding me. Because I forget how that went down, but I don't think they gave up too much for him. I don't know. Kwame Brown, something ridiculous. And that put him right back into contention. So, look, the Red Sox, it's just a shame that they've had to work this hard in what could be for naught. I mean, this could all be for nothing if they don't finish it off with a good effort at the deadline and a solid run down the stretch of the regular season. That's how you finish it off. I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to underwhelm at the deadline, which will set the stage for a disappointing end of the year. They'll probably make the playoffs, but they've got to, be in a position to make a run to really take this to another level. And they haven't done that yet. Credit to them for getting back into contention for a playoff spot. Now they're comfortably in a position for a playoff spot. I give them all the credit in the world for that. But if you were not with us earlier, I was saying this is really unprecedented. Teams that do what they've done usually are dominant regular season teams. Teams that have won, or I should say teams that have lost less than 5 games in a calendar month, there's only 4 of them outside of the Red Sox in recent history. And those teams either won 100-plus games or won their division by double digits. One of the two things. The Red Sox aren't in position for either thing to happen. That's why this is unprecedented. Teams that have been as bad as the Red Sox do not win at that level. They don't win 15 games in a row. They don't lose just 4 games in a month. So it is a complete toss-up where this season goes. credit for them, or credit to them for doing what they've done since the trade deadline. But I keep saying the trade deadline. I keep meaning to say the All-Star break. The trade deadline is tomorrow. The All-Star break has come and gone. I'm impressed with what they've done since the All-Star break. But if they don't convert at the deadline and then drop off, no one is going to care. They won't. I mean, at the end of the year, this will not even be a footnote. Maybe it'll be a footnote. But it's not going to, I mean, everybody will still consider the 2026 Red Sox as they sucked. That's what they'll be remembered as. Nobody's going to talk about the win streak. Nobody's going to talk about July. They're going to say, yeah, it's just another suck year in the midst of a bunch of suck years. Average. Just above 500. Nothing really to speak of in the playoffs. It's just not going to be enough. And I get it. We want it to be enough because they're the team we root for, and you want to root for them to win. I just don't see, while the Dodgers continue to do what they're doing, why are we still okay with this? Why are we falling for this? You shouldn't fall for it. Even though I will admit, what they've done has to be acknowledged. They have to be acknowledged and applauded for putting themselves in this position. And it does make the stretch run very interesting. What type of potential does this team have? The other problem is, the elephant in the room of Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, and Garrett Crochet. Managing those situations will be vital. Vital to this team's success. Are they going to get back Crochet at any point? Okay, Roman Anthony's swinging a bat finally. Are they going to get him back? And if they get him back, how will he be received in the clubhouse? There's a heck of a lot of questions still out there, considering the fact that they've done so well to get them back in the race. A lot of questions. And I don't necessarily think this ownership group, this front office, is prepared to answer them at the deadline. And that's what's frustrating. I said it before the year. We have a show to do today. I get it. Maz, he wanted me to. I get it. But this season came down to, what do you do at the deadline? That's what the season came down to. Nobody's shocked that they're 8 games over 500 as the deadline approaches. That's what we thought. And now here we are, set up to fail once again. Mike is in Medford. Hey, Mike.
Hey, man. How you doing?
How you doing?
I guess I just disagree at the core premise. Like, I am going to remember this season because that was the worst baseball team I have ever watched in my life. And they just gave me a month of, genuinely the best baseball the Red Sox have played in like a corner to corner, like 1 month time. This team, as currently constituted, this sort of ragtag group, is outstanding. They're great fun to watch. I've enjoyed this summer of baseball since they made the turn more than so many in such a long time. That even if they end up, maybe regressing to the mean, some of these guys who are playing over their heads don't get together. The Red Sox disappoint us as a front office. It may not culminate in anything. I'm still going to have really enjoyed the summer. I learned a long time ago I can't wait for John Henry to make my summer better, because he's just not gonna. It doesn't give a crap. So I try to just enjoy what's in front of me, and that was completely impossible early on.
Yeah.
And lately it's been really easy, and I just think it's important, like, that people appreciate, like, man, we got a good baseball team right now. Like, they're kicking the pants off the Dodgers right now, which is stupid. And if it stops, oh well. But I've enjoyed it for now, and I hope people take some time to appreciate this, even as we dread the future.
I appreciate the perspective, Mike. I'm not where you are yet. I guess I wish I could be. And again, it's not like I'm not enjoying the run they're going on. I'm enjoying it. I just feel uncomfortable with the whole exercise of fully diving in and enjoying it because it doesn't feel like they're doing everything possible to win. Now, if maybe you can compartmentalize well enough where it's, well, that's just the owner and I'm going to root for the team. All right. I'll get there, and I am. But it doesn't change the fact that I feel like I have to say, at least on the record here, even every time I say something positive, I have to follow it up with, you just let me remind you that I am not for the way they've approached building this team, this roster. I just don't think that's what wins, and I think they know that, and they've decided to go away from it. That's what I'm just forever uncomfortable with that. So if you can help me change my perspective, I'd love that. I just don't agree with what John Henry has become. I think it's bad for the sport. I think it's bad for the Red Sox. I think it's bad overall. And I can't get on board with it. And I'm glad Mike, that's why I'm not going to tell Mike not to enjoy the season. He should enjoy it. I'm having trouble fully investing in what they're doing because of the overriding philosophies of the management team. Dan is in Rhode Island. Hey, Danny.
What's up, Mark? How are you?
Good. How are you?
My serious condolences to your headphones.
Oh, yeah. They go back to the... I think I've had them since I started it in Providence. So
yeah, I was saying we burned up a lot of hours.
That's
on
right.
those
You've
things,
been in these ears for a long time. That's right.
Yeah, I feel a melancholy.
That's right. Thanks you.
Well, baseball to me is, I'm on the same line with you with the analytics. I think it was. This is the worst example of it, and the best example of it. Why it's to be hated. Was it the 2020 World Series with Blake Snell, right?
Yep.
Was it Game 6?
Yep.
He had gone, he was in the 5 1/3, 5 2/3, 2 hits, 9 strikeouts, 10 strikeouts. I almost remember his line verbatim. And he'd only thrown 71 or 72 pitches, and they took him out because it was another turn for the 2 times around the lineup. That may be the best example of overanalyzing idiocy in any sport that you can come up with. I know that was Game 6, but I mean, they ended up losing that game anyways, right? If I remember correctly, and the Dodgers won.
I'll have to look it up. I don't remember.
I think the Dodgers, because that was going to force Game 7. But anyways, you see my point.
Yeah.
It's just, and if you're building a team under those type of, parameters, I just find it very hard to root for. And I'm having a hard time separating the game itself from the way it's built, as you just said, and the way teams go about doing it.
They lost
I am
that
so
game.
not a fan. Yeah, I just can't. I can't get around and get back into it as much. It just sucks. I'm a statistics guy, but when they start talking about these knee-deep things that I have never heard of, nor will ever care, I just I guess I'm an old coot in that department, but
no,
I agree with you. It's not as fun. It's just not as fun. That's it.
Thanks, Danny.
See you,
Good to hear you.
Take care.
Not only that, the win-loss aspect to what Dan just said. I think it's horrific for the sport. I think it's horrific for the sport to not let Blake Snell continue to pitch in a game of that magnitude. I mean, that's where legends are born, from performances like that. Now, if I don't remember exactly, if the Rays had gone on to win that game and forced again, they won. I mean, maybe that could have still been at the foundation of some legendary moment. But I mean, that's, Jack Morris in 91 against John Smoltz. Didn't both guys pitch a complete game? I mean, when you pitch a complete game in the playoffs, you become, in a way, or at least in that moment, a legend. And you kind of go from there. To strip players of moments like that and the fans of outings and efforts like that, man, that sucks. It's just horrible for the game. I mean, how many guys are batting over 300 in baseball? Is that good for the sport? To have 7 guys batting over 300 in the entire league? Come on. That's awful. What happened? You want guys to have hits. You want guys to have big, fat stat lines. That's what makes it interesting. It's a shame that it's become this. I mean, there's just so many bad, negative aspects. We don't have to go into all of them. Analytics have a place. I don't know why it had to go beyond that. They had a place in sports. They have a place in sports. Specific matchups. Tweaking a roster. Finding the right missing piece. A diamond in the rough. That's where the analytics should be valuable. You do not live your life according to the analytics. You do not live your life according to that. That's where they all miss the boat. 617-779-0985. I'm late. Mark Dondero, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
I don't do that. We did play in a tennis. We're in the midst of this tennis. She likes tennis. We had a huge win the other day. Little humble brag there. Down 6-0 or 0-6. Okay. I had to give her a little pep talk after we went down big. Got in her face. Got a little intense. You know, she's not quite used to. Usually she's the one getting in my face and getting intense about stuff. But I told her how it had to be. Come back. We win 6-3 in the second set and then win the tiebreaker 10-5. We're on to the semis. Mixed doubles, tennis. Never played tennis as a kid, really. But she got into it, so then I got competitive, so I got into it a little bit, and now we're playing tennis together. It's good. She likes it. It's like time together, you know? She likes the time. And then, she spends time with me. We spend time together, and that gets her in a good mood, and I like it when she's in a good mood. Okay? I want her in a good mood. She likes it. So, big win. Yeah, what an adjustment we made. Big time. I'm not going to tell you the adjustment, but I don't know why he thinks I just follow her around. She doesn't like golf. I always go play golf. She doesn't follow me there. Oh, now she's texting me. Okay. Just logistical things. Yeah, so it's really conflicting. It really is for me. Not for somebody like Mike, but I'm just telling you how I feel about the whole situation. It is conflicting because if they don't or aren't able to win it, then what am I supposed to think? I just feel uncomfortable being, all in, all happy and satisfied, and then if it doesn't go the way I'm hoping it goes, you know me. You've heard me for long enough. I'm going to have a reaction to it, I'm not somebody that just sits here and, hey, good run. No, I'm going to react. I'm passionate about the team and the sports and analyzing the sports. I'm going to react. So I'm uncomfortable sitting here being all satisfied and happy. And then if it doesn't go well, or if they don't get enough help later at the deadline, or if they fall off and it doesn't go well, if they choke in the play, I'm going to look back and be like, well, why didn't they go for more help at the deadline? So if that's the way I'm thinking, why would I not say stuff like that now? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't compute with me. So I'm going to say it now. I think they need more at the deadline. I'm not satisfied with how they've approached building this team. The plan was not to lose Garrett Crochet and Roman Anthony and go on this unbelievable hot winning streak. That's luck. That wasn't the plan. It's a results business, golf, but I've never shot 83 when I've sculled 18 shots and been, you just eventually it's going to come up, it's going to get you. it's going to get you because that's not the way you're supposed to go. You're supposed to hit flush shots, pure shots. Every now and then you can get away with a skull or hit one thin. It's not going to be able to, it's not sustainable. And I don't think this is sustainable. You know what this is sustainable for? 500 ball. We just all got swept up in what they're doing now. Okay, that's why Mike is okay. He's swept up in having fun now. But if you look at the big picture, is that what you want? I just feel like you'd want a contender. And I've never taken my eye off of that prize. That's what I stay focused on. Because let's be honest, if they drop off a little bit in later August or September and they come back to around 500 and peter out in the playoffs or miss the play or whatever it is, this season is just like any other. Yes, they went on the run and it was a lot of fun, but ultimately it's just the same. It's just the same. I mean, don't be fooled because of what the middle of the season was. Ultimately, it's just the same. I mean, just think about it in any other way, in any other aspect of life. If you say to yourself, I need to play more golf this year. Okay, you use golf as an example, I guess. If you say I need to play more golf this year because you've only averaged 10 rounds a year for the past few years, and you play no rounds in April, you play once in May, okay? You play twice in June, but then you play 6 times in July. Okay, if I come to you on August 4th and talk to you about your golf season and how many times you've played, you're going to feel pretty good. But if you play once in August and no times in September or October, guess what? You had the same year. So, I mean, just because you're in the midst of playing a lot doesn't mean you achieve the goal. Just because the Red Sox are in the midst of this great hot streak doesn't mean anything's really different. It's great that, say, Don Rafaela has been able to follow up what he did last year with an all-star campaign and hitting these big home runs. It's great that they were able to keep it going after the all-star break and bring that and roll that into the second half of the season. And they're still going. But again, there's more baseball to play. They could come back. I mean, it's not anything different yet. You know what could make it different? A really explosive move at the deadline. That would speak to all of us and make it different. That's why I want it so bad. That's something that the team can control. It would obviously impact and hopefully help the team between the lines, but it would infuse them with something they haven't had. So, I mean, yes, you could just sort of enjoy the ride, but I just, in sports, as a fan, I feel like it's okay to get greedy. Like that's one area in life where I think it's okay to be greedy. No fan would ever say, well, hey, we won the championship last year. We're in the championship series this year, the semifinal, the ALC, whatever it is. Let's let the Yankees win. Let's let the Blue Jays win this year. We won last year. Nobody does that. You want to win again. You want to be greedy. So why would I not be greedy now? Why would I just sit back and say, they're never going to be the same. They're never going to be what they were. I'm okay with that. This is fun. I'm having trouble doing that. I will watch, and in a vacuum, in moments, I'll enjoy it. When Cedon goes deep tonight and it's the game, go ahead, home run, whatever, in the 8th inning, I'll be really excited. It'll be really fun in that moment. I'll enjoy it. But if they don't make a move at the deadline and then get to the playoffs and didn't really do anything and then they lose in the first round or, whatever, they win a round and they go to the DS and lose, like, what do you want me to do? All right, it was fun. They made the DS. I guess I don't know. I mean, they could have done more. I can't, I'm not there yet. I'm still. The Patriots went to the Super Bowl last year. Okay? This team could be better. Not there yet. I can't just sit back and have a drink and enjoy whatever happens. They could be doing more, and they have a chance before tomorrow afternoon. 617-779-0985. Mark Dondero, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
617-779-0985. It just feels like the Patriots are, I think the biggest thing from Patriots camp so far is the way Drake May's looked. Obviously, the quarterback is the most important position, but the fact that he has wowed is significant. I think that's the first step in the process of, it didn't need to happen for me, but I think part of what needed to happen this year for the national people to kind of really understand is that Drake May needed to respond from what we saw in the Super Bowl. Maybe he was a little bit more hurt than any of us thought. Maybe that was a significant player in that game, and I hope it was, honestly, at this point. But the fact that he has looked the way he's looked and that he's connected with A.J. Brown and that they're doing the things that they're doing and what people are saying about him, I mean, that's the first step in really getting to the level that this team, I think, expects to be on. I think they've known all along that they were going to be kind of right back in the saddle here. I'm not saying they're going to go back to the Super Bowl. I just think so many people were so quick to pounce on them because they got the validation they were hoping for in that game. Instead of looking at it for what it was, which is a team that was way ahead of schedule, making it to the Super Bowl and setting them up nicely as they go forward. It's amazing how things are covered now. Hall of Fame game coming up this week, Thursday night. Hall of Fame, I mean, things like that, I feel like those things were never that big of a deal. Do you remember those preseason situation? Do you remember the coverage back in the day, Jeff? Was it always this big of a deal?
No, it wasn't.
It
was a big deal for me as a young fan to be like, oh, football's back. Now it's just like, just get me to the regular season.
I honestly, and this is probably on me, I know it wasn't what it was technology-wise and everything. I don't remember anything about football until the season began. Like, week 1 was when football started. I didn't think about football in August. I never did. Maybe that's because I was a kid. I told the story this week on Twitter. It was July 31st, 2000. I was at a baseball tournament in Sarasota, Florida. We were at a team dinner, and, they dropped us off. The parents weren't with us. So they dropped all the kids off after the dinner, and we all just kind of went back to our rooms or whatever. I think at that point we were still rooming. Like, you stay with your parents still. We were 13, whatever. And I'm walking in the hotel, and as I'm going through the lobby, I look to the left, there's a bar, and it was, the New England Patriots are playing. It's July 31st. They're playing a game. So I go in and sit down just to see what was going on, and they're playing the 49ers, and it was the Hall of Fame game. So I sit down, and there's Tom Brady. I have his jersey from Michigan. I had his jersey. True story. People on Twitter didn't believe me. I have a picture of it from 2001, 6 weeks before, or a couple weeks before Drew Bledsoe got injured. Me wearing a Tom Brady jersey. So take that. But a Michigan Tom Brady jersey. But anyway, I sit down, I watch a series. You know, they had Brady was in there, he completes whatever, and then I left. And it was all right. I'll see you in September. It was preseason. I didn't, I just didn't think about it before the regular season, the real game started. Maybe that's because it was still at that point a Red Sox thing, a baseball town, and I don't know. But it's just funny to think about. It dominates so much now. You talk about football all year. We could talk football all year. I could right now, I could probably have a conversation about the NFL draft next April. Right now. If we wanted to. We could talk about who's, the big blue chip names to look for this college football season, who I'd love based on projections, the Patriots to get next year. I just feel like they're going to be, I just think their roster is solid. Really good. Jadeveon Clowney rejoining the Texans. Already a good pass rush. They get another body there. Going to be a good, let's see what C.J. Stroud can do. I saw that video of him walking into the facility. Did you see that video, Jeff? Yeah. Right then and there, I completely dismissed the Texans this year. Out. I don't know why. That one video, out. He looked too dumpy. Did not look good. It looked like he was broken from that Patriots game. Didn't like it. Don't like it. I think they're going to suck. I shouldn't say suck. Their defense is going to be good. I think he's going to be terrible. I think they're going to be middle of the pack at best. Out on the Texans this year. Only because of that video. Totally irrationally placed thought, but that's how I feel. I think Denver's going to be one of the more interesting teams in the league. Can they do what they did last year, or is it going to be a problem for them? The AFC West is really interesting again because Kansas City needs to prove that they're not kind of done. And it's not going to be easy with Denver and the Chargers in that division. And we'll see about, Mendoza. I don't know how good that situation will be. Fernando Mendoza could be I don't know. I like him. I would bet on him, but how good they'll be this year, we'll have to wait and see. Out on Indy, out on Houston, I will leave the door open for Jacksonville. I believe in Liam Cohen. And I think, obviously, Trevor Lawrence is wildly talented. I will leave the door open for the Ravens. New coach, let's see what happens. Bengals, respect the quarterback. Bills, obviously the Chiefs are still going to be a factor. Patriots are going to be right there again. Right there again. And it's amazing what they have done. I mean, the most important storyline for the Patriots this year is clear. Okay, it was the most important thing last year, arguably. And it's now officially the most important thing this year. We can talk about that when we get back. The most important thing for the Patriots because it will make or break this season and beyond. Mark Dondero, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Back here, 98.5 The Sports Hub. I think the biggest thing for the Patriots this year, the biggest, will be their draft picks and the progression made by those types of guys. And that includes the guys from last year. Can they show that they're legit? And can you get some guys at key spots to emerge? Especially out of that second and third round. Man. I would love for Caleb Lomu to be a baller. But the guys, can you fill a need at linebacker from somebody that might be undrafted? Maybe, somebody you picked up. But can the draft picks really emerge? I mean, my gosh, if you could get, I know it's been a chaotic whirlwind. If Gabe Akis could give me a little something, boy, would that be so valuable for this team. And it's a long road. He hasn't played. I love what I'm hearing, considering where he was. I love the fact that, according to Mike Reese, he's texting Mike Vrabel late into the night. It sounds like one of my little leaguers. I just told you you're not going to pitch today. Can I pitch today? No, I just said you're not pitching. He keeps asking Vrabel if he can keep playing or if he can practice. I just told you at 6:30 you're not going to practice. Well, I'm asking now. It's 11:30 p.m. I love it. He wants to be. I want somebody that loves the game, that loves football, that loves preparing. Man, if he could, that's a second round pick? If he could contribute, I'm not asking him to be an all-pro, a Pro Bowler. Can you be a functional player? Can you get on the field? If he could be Will Campbell, I know Will Campbell was the 4th overall pick, and this is different. If he could be Will Campbell, this season changes dramatically. Gabe Akis. Can Eli Raridan be somebody? I think the Patriots are going to give him a chance to be somebody. I don't think they're going to just bury him and just assume he's got a lot to learn. It's going to take years. You got a lot. No. They're going to give him a real chance to learn. And I think if he shows that he's learning, I think they'll play him. It's been so long since this team has benefited from types of players like that come out of the draft and can make an immediate impact. If Gabe Akis, forget about Will Campbell, can he be Travion Henderson? That's all I need him to be this year. Can you impact a game or two with a big play? And I'll tell you this, for a defensive end, that might even be a bigger deal than a running back. And I know it's, you could argue what I just said. Henderson breaking off 80-yard runs is pretty impactful. But it feels like if you have a closer or a guy that can make a big play off the edge to seal a game, I feel like that can get into the head of the opponent a little bit more than just a running back who broke one big run. I don't think that scares teams as much as an edge player that has a knack for finishing a game or getting to the quarterback in a key spot. So if Gabe Akis can just be Travion Henderson, couple big moments in the season, out there consistently, and then adds to the consistency a couple big moments, a couple big plays in key spots, that'd be huge. That would be huge for this team. It would re-establish further your standing in the NFL draft and how you've kind of figured it out. It doesn't have to be Akis. I'm just saying that's a guy in a position of need, drafted during a time of the draft that you desperately need to reestablish production. So it would check two very big boxes. That's why he's somebody I'm focusing. That's why I've been so frustrated he hasn't been out there. That's why I need a guy like that from a spot like that to come up big. He was 55th overall. Raridan, 3rd round, 95th overall. Those are the two guys right there. That is where the Patriots need to reestablish themselves, and that's the two I'd be looking at. Lomu, please. Anything you can do. Just get out there, swing tackle, back up, comes in. Somebody's going to get hurt. Can he come in? Is he good enough to come in and be serviceable when the guy, whoever gets hurt, gets hurt? First round, right tackle, left, wherever it ends up being. But Akis and Raridan, 2nd and 3rd round, is where it is crucial that the Patriots find ways to make good selections in those spots. Because last year their 2nd round pick was it worked. The 3rd round pick, jury's still out. But their other 3rd round pick and 4th round pick worked. Okay? So they are on their way to really reestablishing themselves in the draft. Third round, the second pick of the third round last year was Jared Wilson. We'll see how he does at center. The fourth round pick, 106, was Craig Woodson. And you know what? I'll even throw Joshua Farmer in there. Now, not nearly as productive as Woodson was, but I think he's on the right track to getting more reps at defensive tackle and progressing to a point where he could contribute on the field regularly as a fourth-round, second-year player. I'm not going to turn, that could be a thing. So really good last year in the draft. Really good. No all-stars. That's the next step. Can you draft an all-star? Maybe that happens this year. Maybe Henderson goes off and has a big season. With a little more athletic offensive line, the screen game opens up. Henderson's a little more capable. He's catching more passes, bigger numbers, breaks off a couple big runs. And there you go. You got a Pro Bowler out of the second round. I don't see it from Kyle Williams. I don't think he's going to have a big role. Maybe Jared Wilson becomes a stud center. Maybe you have an all-star out of the third round. I mean, that's going to be huge. Their progression from guys like that, and then what they did this year. Lomu, Akis, Raritan. Boom. And I know Akis has the late start, so it might take him a minute. But with the guys that they have in the middle there, who we talked about earlier, Milton Williams, Christian Barmore, if they're right, can you get Gabe Akis on the field? Especially if Harold Landry's not right, can you get Akis on the field and let him contribute? Can he be good enough to just be out there? First off, I'm telling you, that'd be a huge development for this team. To hit on second and third round picks in back-to-back drafts, that's what it's all about. That's how you get back to the Super Bowl. That's how you win Super Bowls. It's right there for them, and they're going to have the support. They've got some guys. Obviously, the number one receiver is going to help things immensely. Drake May getting a little bit more comfortable is going to help things immensely. He's better. He's nasty. Another X factor I do think will be their slot play. I think that's a really big X factor. And based on what I've seen out of Pop Douglas in spots and Efton Chisholm, why can't they have some decent slot play? I think they're going to. I think they're going to have some good play out of the slot, or else Douglas is going to be gone. There's no reason to keep him around anymore. If he can't figure it out during this camp and coming out of this camp, I don't know what we're doing. And nobody's been a bigger Pop Douglas fan than me. I've loved his potential. When he's gotten chances, for the most part, it's been good. But, I mean, if you can't find yourself on the field consistently.
This is Boston's home for sports. Touchdown! The flagship station of the Patriots, Bruins, the Celtics, WBCFM, Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group station celebrating 65 years of broadcasting. And here's what you need to know.